Greetings to all. I hope this time finds you all well. At least it has been for me. And it's been a great time actually, full of manifestations and changes, which is one of the reasons why there has been a small radio silence. But I had to return because I wanted to continue with the reference that we left on about the Loa. Initially, we spoke about Papa Legba and the experience which came with initiating into the current. Now, the second stage of what occurs when one initiates into the current and connects with Legba is he will act as the gateway, as the gatekeeper, and he will open the way to others. And basically, the way the system of the law works is it's like, for illustration's sake, to be able to explain it better, it's like a door which opens up, and behind the door there'll be a long corridor, which leads to another door, and another, and another, and another. And that's basically how their system works. Legba will always be the initial point of everyone to be able to begin. And then the second part that comes in, according to my experience, would be Baron Samedi. Now, what happens in order to connect to Baron Samedi is he will bring you, first of all, at the border of Baron Samedi's realm, where you will come in front of a door. Now, that particular door will have like a kind of like a U shape on top, and it comes down. And in that particular passage, instead of bars, you will have green lasered energy bars. These are very harmful and they are not to be touched, okay? Because literally, like, they can, it's hard to describe. They're almost like lasers that burn you. If you grab them, you will lose a hand of your astral double or a particular part which is valuable, so you shouldn't touch them. Then you're supposed to be there with a Legba, of course. And what he will do is he will tap his staff, which we said that he owns, with a skull on top and some 3 feathers on the back of the skull 3 times. And that action will not automatically open the gate. What it does is it summons Baron Samedi to come to the gate and get you, because you can't just walk in there by yourself. Then he will come and you will see him in his typical attire with a very expensive black suit, trousers and shoes. Chances are he's gonna have a cigar and a big black hat, which will have a red strip around it and little skulls in it as it goes around. And as he comes, then these bars will disappear, and then he will take you with him, and you will walk through a passageway. It looks very similar to if you see the movie The Lord of the Rings, when they enter the mines of the dwarves, where there is like passages hanging, and there's nothing but cliffs left and right. It's the exact same. Now, left and right in this particular passage of earth, which is brown and goes straight and curves a little bit up into the left, which leads to a dark palace that has cages with skeletons hanging and crows and all kinds of dark stuff, bones and what have you. There are also werewolves and black hellhounds guarding this particular place in his realm. There's many different creatures and beings, actually. You will walk with him, and you will have a little talk about what's going to happen why you are here. And of course, you will be spending a significant amount of time there. And other places too, of course. You're not bound to stay there only. You, of course, will fluctuate between worlds and places to learn a bit more, but you will be always returning to that place significantly for further teachings. Left and right, there is no cliff in that particular land piece that stretches straight up, that leads to the palace. There is a green, glowing, kind of like radioactive river, water that is situated left and right from the sides of that passage. That is the river Acheron. It's one of the 5 rivers of Hades, and that river floats in many, many realms of the underworld. And it so happens that one of them is Samedi's realm. That water is toxic. Under no circumstances should you double jump into it, because it will melt. Looking into that river, what you will see is souls of the dead floating, which may appear humanly, but if they jump out of that river, they will turn skeleton-like, and they can devour and eat someone. So that is the reason why you're not supposed to cross there alone, because you will be devoured by these particular undead. They are restless undead. The Acheron Green River is the river of pain, where the lost souls endlessly float and swim, similar to the Valley of the Shadows of Death, which is located upon the Black Earth, where the dead soldiers roam and march endlessly. Okay? That's where you will find people like Vlad the Impaler, for example, who has armies and rules by himself there. He rules them himself. Then you will go up to his palace, and you will sit with him, and there is a big library there, which you will probably be given books to learn alchemical secrets of the underworld. You may or may not see Madame Brigitte there, his wife, which in my case appeared with a big long white dress that had red round dots around it, and kind of like wavy red hair as well. They will both teach you at times, if you are supposed to stay there for a long time. Samedi will open tremendous gateways to other Loa and the undead. He will teach you a tremendous amount of secrets when it comes to the necromantic current, and most of all, banful work, curses of the necromantic nature, of course. He will then later open the way. He can also allow you to command the werewolves that live there, and the hounds as well. Especially if you are attuned to these particular currents. And he also gives some dominion to the undead that reside there. He will later on open the way to the rest of the Loa. Next, what came to me personally as a revelation to work with was Carrefour. He appeared as a tribal dressed man in silverish grayish clothing of tribal appearance, and he also had silver long hair, kind of like dreadlockish, but not totally, and long gray silver beard as well, and had a stick and was kind of hunchbacking. He then shifts into a human-sized, very big baboon, which in this aspect the spirit is very protective and friendly. And when you are shown this particular symbolic animal attribute, it basically stands for family, unity, and protection, mostly. Okay, so this aspect is protective. It's not a trickster aspect. It's not an aggressive or dangerous one. He will empower psychic senses like no other: hearing, sight, divination, astral projection, and overall connection to any particular spirit you would like. Literally, he will boost you to the point where no ritual will even be required. You will sit down, go deep within your own void yourself, and you can connect to anything you desire and anyone, any spirit. You shall project into the world, make your connections, affirmations, what have you, requests, maybe if any, and you will receive knowledge very quickly, like on the spot if needed, especially in case of an emergency. Carrefour, from what he states, or Carrefour, as some people call him, in specific regions, can and will also initiate within the current of the 5 rivers of Hades. Not all of them at the same time, as it would be deadly for any human, of course, but one by one, and in specific timelines, which is required. The thing that one must know about these rivers is they are extremely dangerous path workings. The rivers are toxic, and they shall infect the double with toxicity, because the essence of necromancy is toxicity. In order to become a real death current spirit, to infuse your double with these harmful energies, which are life-threatening in every way, shape, and form, one must be poisoned by them in order to be transformed, infused with these energies, as well as develop some immunity. And that will manifest in a harmful way upon you physically. Unfortunately, like it or not, these rivers will make you sick for quite a significant amount of time. It can go even up to 3 weeks. And every one of them has a specific different function. For example, coquitos is dark blue, and one must be washed in it 3 times to acquire its energies and even be cleansed by unnecessary ones. Acheron is green, as we said, the green glowy river of pain and lost souls. What Baron Samedi, if he is your patron, will do is he will take a sample of it with a needle and he will inject it into your artery in your neck, and you will see your double having black veins and black eyes, and you will be poisoned to be able to acquire this immunity. Now the problem is that this will make your double sick, and you will feel like you are burning from the inside. This will continue after you wake up for days, but this is how one becomes one with the death current. You must pretty much die first within to become death himself. It is an extremely difficult path working. Many shorten their lifespan with these workings and with these energies, because these energies take away life. They suck it off for one. So it is a great sacrifice to get into such a path working, and very dangerous at that. So I don't recommend it to anyone, okay? It must be part of your soul attributes to be able to do so. If not, then there are other currents of dark origin which may be better for you, more suitable at Then you have phlegeton, which is the red river, the river of blood or fire, which torments souls, but can also purify some. If it is part of your path working, you shall enter this river in order to be purified. This river pours into the purgatory, where the lake of fire is as well. Everything is connected in the underworld, literally like a system of rivers and tunnels that come together as one, and then expand into different areas and break away, but all have a main river float, just like an artery with veins. There is only there is a big main artery, and then it dissolves into many different veins, for illustration's sake, to understand better. Then you have Lithi, which basically means oblivion in Greek. This river is yellow, and it erases memory. What happens is, this is the part where when the souls are new in the underworld and they enter, they must drink of this river to forget everything from their past human life in order to be able to attune into the underworld and proceed. If they do not do so, they are not able to cross into the underworld. They will not enter the boat which brings them across, and they shall remain there and be tormented. Unfortunately, this has effects. What happens when this occurs is some of these souls are stuck in between, because that's the border of the worlds, and they may break away and go backwards, going between the crossroads, because that's where they literally are, within the crossroads. When you are at the border, you are at the crossroads of the worlds. And going back and forth is harmful for the dead, because they will acquire nothing but a dark essence doing so. They can never find a purpose, they can never find peace, they can never find rest. And what happens is, basically they become wraiths, a very dark, undead, restless human spirit that seeks nothing but destruction, because it cannot let go of the past while it was alive. Its pains of the previous human life are eating it alive. And then its only solid purpose that it has is to be released back into the world and perform the same acts that were either done upon it, or it simply has no control of itself. It does not really possess any possibility of thought like we humans would to control ourselves. It only knows how to lash out, and it's an extremely dangerous spirit to have to deal with. These spirits must be contained, and if encountered, they must be fought. Never try to befriend or resonate such a spirit, because it is completely mindless in that particular stage of existence. Last but not least, we have Styx. According to ancient Greek legend, that river was cursed by the creator of all gods, who in Greek literature is Zeus. We know the creator as God, or as well as many other aspects and names, but for understanding's sake, let's just call him God. From what I know is that after the world was created, God saw this particular part of the dark creation which remained as an unnecessary abstinence, and he gave it his spite, but he also gave it a purpose to serve within the infernal realm of what remains dark after creation occurred. So the ancient Greek myth is half true. The ancient civilizations got many things more or less partially correct. But there's always a piece of the puzzle that remains unknown into humanity, which requires way further investigating through communicating with the spirits per se. That river is, in my experience, the most difficult to deal with. All the rivers have side effects, of course. For example, abhorrent, the Green River, can create very, very painful psychological side effects, can create depression, can even create manic and suicidal tendencies. So one must be very, very strong and prepared to work with these energies. They can destroy one. Phlegethon will be very painful for the body and for the soul as well, as it torments it constantly and it burns. You will be sweating constantly. You will be feeling like you're burning. It gets way worse at night. You will literally feel like you are burning alive within. It's not easy. Lythee will create a plethora of memory issues. You will keep forgetting what you're doing. You will keep forgetting what you try to wear. You will have problems with concentration. You won't be able to basically focus when you have to do simple chores or at work. And it is very, very difficult. You are in a semi-state of Alzheimer's, basically. And it's constant. Styx makes one extremely wrathful. Styx makes one vengeful. It fills him with bitterness and spite. This is the most bitter of waters from all the rivers if drank. You will feel it extremely bitter coming into you. And that bitterness will remain within your physical mouth and taste. Everything you eat and drink shall remain like this for 3 weeks constantly. You will be completely agitated all the time. You will be wrathful. You will be aggressive. It will be very, very difficult to function under this river. And of course, like we said, they affect the lifespan. So if you do not manage to attune to these rivers quickly, they will continue to take away from you for the duration of your life. So as we said, these path workings are dangerous. Yet again, the empowerment from this, if survived, is tremendous. Whereas one can gain access to the gateways, to the crossroads, and most of all, come way closer to the angel of death than anyone. It is a very, very, very difficult path working. But when you reach that particular point, if desired, you may do a soul devotion, or a path working devotion, or even a lifelong devotion, to help out the angel of death and become an emissary in return of further empowerments and knowledge, which shall be covered in a different part, according to the death spirits that come forth, like Antaros, death, which is the male form of Santissima Muerte, from my personal experience, and Azrael, as he appeared to me, which is Azrael, more well known into the Muslim religions as the angel of death. All of these, which are all aspects of the same, basically, spirit of death, which is responsible and manages death, alongside other spirits, of course. Hecate being involved in this current too, as we all know, in the underworld. And everyone, of course, has their own realms and kingdoms, positions, roles, what have you. Last but not least, at least for now, after Carrefour, what happens is you shall be taken to the astral crossroads. and you shall meet Baron de la Croix, Baron of the Crossroads or of the Cross. He shall appear to you in a four-way astral crossroad in space amongst the stars, galaxies, and he will have a Nazgul-type black robe that looks ripped at the bottom. He appears as a black male with a short beard and moon-shining eyes that appear kind of white or silver-ish, but they shine. They're very shiny. There's no black part or anything else. There's just this color. He holds a skith, and he has half-bodied Nazgul hooded figures with no face but darkness, only flying around, and they also hold smaller skiths. So these are his emissaries, his reapers, basically, these spirits that work for him. He's responsible for very heavy, banful work, necromantic, gives tremendous dominion over the dead, especially if you frequently start working within a cemetery. So if you can literally move out to an area where you have a cemetery close by and you can visit it unbothered often, it's one of the greatest things you could do for your path in this particular current. You will literally have a door open all the time, constantly, with his knowledge and rituals to this world, which you can visit at any time. And anything you throw in there or bring out will be as good as a physical manifestation. Very heavy, very potent. He will also initiate you to attune to his current, and you may also work with these little reapers, which will come in and out to empower and teach you in your path and give you knowledge, as he won't give you this knowledge himself. He will assign it to the emissaries to do so. Once again, tremendous knowledge as well in the mysteries of mysteries as far as necromantic work goes, crossroads and malice. But of course, mostly protection. The law are extremely honest and protective in my experience. I have not come across any trickery from them whatsoever. They just require you to be, first of all, honest, and second of all, respectful and faithful. When something is asked, give it to them. They don't really care about blood at all, to be honest. Other kinds of sacrifice would be accepted, mostly ritualistic and animal-like, as it's performed in the local tribes and religions which they are mostly worshipped. But they don't care much about human blood. They're not really a demon, and they have no problem walking the earth. They do not really need to use our bodies like a demon would, and to my experience, they have no limitation whatsoever. They can manifest the heaviest in this world because they're extremely connected to it. They are the crossroads between the worlds, so they don't really need to put much effort into coming here at all, actually. It's tremendous, and they don't really appear from the left side. At least in my case, they appear from the right. So they are dark, but they also have light attributes, as we've said, and they are extremely protective. They support justice, most of all. And when you accept it, you, at least in my experience, you will feel like you really found your tribe and family. So I would recommend to get closely connected with them if you're serious, and if you have interest, and if this current is calling for you. There are tremendous benefits. At least in my case, it has severely boosted every aspect of my practice, everything. Wherever it is that I was lacking, I developed. And another big tip would be to understand when it comes to dealing with currents of the dark aspects and of the dark current. of the infernal current. Find your soul calling, your true connection. The more you practice, the more past life regression you're going to gain. And then you will realize that maybe you have been meeting dead ends into your practice because you've been associated with the wrong currents. For example, if you have as a past life tremendous necromantic attributions and you've been doing heavy necromantic work, and then you spend all your practice into vampirism, then of course you're not going to be very good at it or able to reach tremendous levels in this practice as others would, because it's not your true soul calling. Okay, it's not your true path working. And then you end up in something different, a different current. And then you find out that you also have past life connections. Your attributes correspond to it perfectly. And instead of being tricked and used by specific spirits, you are met with nothing but friendship, unity, and a feeling of belonging. You will, like I said, you will feel like family once you find your true soul tribe, let's call it. And they will come to you when the time is right, and they shall invite you and accept you. Of course, they will also open tremendous connections to your ancestors, even those who you never thought that would be existing. And chances are that if you are in this current, you have severely strong ancestors who were high priests or dedicated heavily to the spirits and dark alchemy. Okay? They also had wealth, more or less. It's common. Okay? It will not apply, of course, to everyone, but these are some of the common points that you may come across that you discover once you open up to this current. And it is, the knowledge you can get from this current is endless. So, I really recommend the Death Current spirits. And as I said, so far I have not seen any trickery or mistreatment from them or anything else. So they work very, very different than other currents and spirits would. So that would be all for now when it comes to the law and a relative experience that I've had. I hope this will help your development. And of course, if you really want to know more about contacting them, sigils, ends, rituals, cast workings, and many other things, reach out to the Facebook group where everything is posted and said in detail. The name remains the same, Dark Soul Gnosticism. There is both light and dark knowledge shared. So give it a check. And I will see you in the next cast where I'm going to share more knowledge about the death current spirits that have appeared to me so far. Rise and conquer. Reveles tenebras tua.